Welcome to Historical Memories Stories, where forgotten tales come alive and history whispers through time. Let's step into the past. The shadowy candlelit chambers of medieval Europe, where superstition merged with early science. Impotence wasn't just a medical condition, it was a crisis of masculinity, morality, and social standing. A man unable to perform was often thought cursed, bewitched, or spiritually weak. Medieval surgeons, though lacking modern anatomy, approached impotence with a mixture of herbalism, astrology, religious doctrine, and crude experimentation. One of the first steps in treatment involved identifying whether the cause was physical or spiritual. If a man claimed he could not perform with his wife but could with other women, it was considered evidence of witchcraft. A common belief was that demons, witches, or the evil eye could steal a man's virility. Priests would perform exorcisms, while surgeons tried physical remedies. Bloodletting was one of the first approaches. Believing that blocked humors caused dysfunction, doctors would bleed patients from the thighs, arms, or even near the groin. Herbal treatments were common. Mandrake root, known for its human-like shape and supposed magical powers, was boiled and consumed as a potion. Ginseng, nettle seeds, and satyrion, a type of orchid root, were other aphrodisiacs given. These concoctions were often mixed with honey, wine, or goat's milk. More extreme measures included cauterization. Heated metal rods were applied to the lower back or testicles to stimulate blood flow. The pain was immense, but some claimed it restored sexual function. Leeches were also used, applied directly to the genitals in hopes of drawing out corrupt blood. Priapism, a prolonged erection, was misunderstood and feared. Treatments for this included binding the penis with silk threads soaked in vinegar and rose oil. Sometimes ice or cold river water was used to cool the passions. Religious penance played a significant role. Men were told to pray, fast, and make offerings to saints associated with love and fertility. Saint Valentine and Saint Agnes were common choices. Celibacy was sometimes prescribed, not as a cure, but as a path to spiritual purity in case the condition was seen as divine punishment. Astrology influenced timing. Treatments would be scheduled according to the positions of Mars and Venus. A man was considered more likely to regain potency if Mars was in ascendance and Venus in favor. Surgeons also used animal-based remedies. Ground deer antler, bull testicles dried and powdered, or even goat brains were mixed into drinks and applied as poultices to the lower abdomen. The belief was that virility could be transferred from powerful animals to humans. In the wealthier courts of Europe, aristocrats had access to more elaborate treatments. Royal physicians experimented with alchemical solutions. Mercury was sometimes applied externally, though it caused ulcers and madness. Still, it was believed to awaken the spirit. Men who suffered from impotence were often subjected to humiliating public trials. Wives could appeal to church courts, demanding annulment if their husbands failed to perform. In France, a man could be ordered to publicly demonstrate his ability to consummate the marriage or undergo inspection by a panel of matrons and clergy. One such test involved a warm sponge soaked in herbal stimulants applied to the penis, followed by observation. Failure often led to social ruin and exile. Success was seen as divine validation. Amulets were also widely used. Some men wore talismans made from wolf teeth or hare's feet around their waist. Others carried tiny leather pouches filled with dried herbs, holy verses, and crushed gemstones. Medieval Islamic physicians, more advanced in medical understanding, influenced European treatments. Avicenna's texts suggested dietary changes, massage, and moderate exercise. He also noted that emotional stress and excessive worry could affect performance, an idea ahead of its time. In some regions, treatments included direct injection of herbal oils into the urethra. A painful process, it often caused more harm than help. Nonetheless, patients submitted to it out of desperation. Electrostatic therapy, Rubbing amber or magnetized stones and applying them to the groin was a crude precursor to electrical stimulation. Though largely symbolic, it added a layer of mystical hope to the process. The Church's influence remained strong. Some clergymen blamed impotence on masturbation or unconfessed sins. Confession and penance were thus considered not only spiritually necessary but medically effective. Dietary prescriptions became increasingly common. Men were told to consume warming foods: onions, garlic, mustard seeds, and eels. Spices like cinnamon and black pepper were believed to stimulate internal heat and increase desire. Drinking too much wine, however, was discouraged as it was thought to weaken the loins. Marriage manuals from the period advised couples on proper behavior. Some even gave specific days thought to enhance fertility: Fridays and feast days of saints. Intercourse on Sundays or religious holidays was forbidden, believed to anger God and invite dysfunction. Psychological remedies included music, poetry, and visual stimulation. Erotic imagery was subtly included in illuminated manuscripts. Nobles might keep paintings or tapestries that depicted idealized love scenes to awaken their desire. There were also early attempts at prosthetic. Wooden phalluses strapped with leather were used by men unable to perform, particularly in high-profile marriages where producing heirs was essential. Some folk healers claimed success using sympathetic magic, burying objects associated with virility under moonlight, or invoking spirits with chants while applying salves. The fear of impotence extended beyond the bedroom. It affected a man's status, confidence, and even political standing. In some cultures, male power was directly linked to sexual performance. Failure meant weakness, vulnerability, and disgrace. While many medieval treatments were based on flawed science and superstition, they reflected a deep desire to solve a personal and social crisis. The brutal remedies may seem shocking today, but they reveal a culture grappling with the same fears and frustrations still present in modern life, only with fewer tools and far more pain. In the end, impotence was not just a condition of the body but of the mind, the soul, and the society that judged both.